Greetings, everyone. I hope your day is going as wonderful as mine is, because mine is always going wonderful. I'm going to start off with reading a poem from someone named Wendell Berry. Wendell Berry writes, "When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives will be, I go and lay down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars, waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world, and am free." I think this is a message to all of us about how we all should be. As you notice, the world seems to be going crazy now. There is violence, fighting, oppression, and suppression, and the people who have been trying to suppress themselves so that the more aggressive and violent people would leave them alone are finding that just doesn't work. They're finding that these violent and aggressive people you see cannot be lived with or dealt with. Accommodation doesn't work. And so they are all beginning to stand up, and the world is being shaken to pieces with fear, violence, hatred, and revenge. We find ourselves in this hour, in this day, in a world that's just crumbling to pieces. Many of us are just trying to make it. Some of us are trying to cling to old beliefs that were around years ago that brought us to this place. Beliefs that make us feel better about ourselves, not because of what we do or how we are, but because of our phenotype or our genetic makeup and its expression. Race, gender, ethnicity, all of these things have been layered up in the hearts and minds of the old idiotic people who called themselves religious and scientific in the late 1800s, so that one type of person, one ethnicity, one race, one gender, one group was better than the other because they just happened to be born better than the others. All of these things divorced behavior from esteem, worth, and dignity. It is time for us not to cling to those old beliefs. It's time for us to get a divorce from those old beliefs, because they are like carrying a dead body around tied to our backs. It's time to dump them, to cut the umbilical cord to the beliefs in a dominator society that has been driven over and over again through the false belief that one race and one gender was better than everyone else, and everyone else was just a substitute or a poor imitation of that race or gender. It's time to let go of that and enter into the real world. The real world that I am talking about is not one of anger, not one of fear, not one of hatred, but one of joy and curiosity. We take back our thoughts. We take back our feelings. We take back our understanding of spirituality, of religion, of the arts, of science, and we realize that we have the ability within our heads and hearts to understand the truth. if we are given the correct information. Thus, the thing that becomes most important, you see, is not receiving a degree. It is receiving the information that we need in order to make the decisions to live in harmony with each other. And we're not going to get them from many people in a dominator society. When I talk about a dominator society, I am talking about one that is based on hierarchy, not earned worth and dignity, but that which is given to one. It is given to one when they are able to put down and stomp on more and more people to rise to the top. Well, that is not real worth and dignity. That is just violence and evil. For true power is bringing together people. True power is working to heal the world. True power is not in what you get or being able to receive a lot. It's being able to give away a lot. The same type of power that the earth has. We look at the earth. People say it's just dirt. It's just soil. We can do whatever we want to do with it. And in our dominator society, it's weak. It's useless. But in truth, the earth is giving us the means to live. It is always giving. It is always supporting. And it is greater because of that. We, as individuals in this nation now, should be in a place where we are always supporting each other and receiving support from those who love us and those who we love. And most of all, we should be able to align ourselves with reality and the truth and realize, you see, that this world is not one of sadness and depression. It is one of peace and joy. And when I'm talking about the world, I'm not talking about the world created by men and the women who want to support such violence just to ride along and get good things. I'm talking about the world beyond the horror, the civilization that small-minded, angry, hateful men and women created and perpetuated. I'm talking about the beauty of the sunrise and sunset. I'm talking about the fact that out of death, life comes. Out of pain and sorrow, if we have the right attitude, we grow strong, we grow intelligent, we grow wise. There is something in this universe that insists on creating life out of death, strength out of pain, understanding out of failures and making mistakes. But in order to take advantage of this, our hearts have to be in the right place. That right place is to realize that the world is not out to get us. It's not evil. We don't have to fight against everything. The world is not out to get us. It is here to shape us and to help us grow into better people. It is here to empower us so that we can work on this earth to help create peace, justice, love, and harmony. And when we can do this, when we can live in peace with each other and with the earth and live in harmony with the earth, everything will blossom, become loving and kind and beautiful. The problem, I think, though, is that we, as human beings, are afraid of plurality. We think that we all have to be part of one group and that one small person or small group has to be in charge to keep us all in line, or we'll be fighting and killing each other. We can't believe that there can be another group or another country or another state next to us We think that if they gain power, they'll come after us and destroy us. Only because in the past, especially in Western colonizing societies, that's what we've done. Well, it's time for us to begin to look in the mirror and realize that we have done some very sick things. And everyone else in the world is not sick the way we are. The culture that everyone else has adopted is not one of greed, of anger, of inferiority, the type of inferiority that makes them strive and fight and work hard to prove that they have worth and dignity or are better than other people. That is what our culture is about. Western European culture and all of its colonies are about proving that we have worth and proving that we have dignity and proving that we are better than other people, suffering, beating ourselves, abusing ourselves to prove that we can stay ahead of other people who we have put into other categories. And when those people begin to surpass us, instead of learning from them, learning to do what is good and beautiful, instead of learning to keep the good things that we have and to get rid of the negative ones and adopt the good things that they have, we fight against them. We have to keep that pyramid, that hierarchy alive, because we've invested so much energy in it that we feel that we have no worth whatsoever without existing in that hierarchy. It's time to let it go. It's foolishness, and it always has been foolishness. And even if your friends, your family, your priest or priestess or minister or whoever doesn't let that go, it's up to you to let it go yourself. It's up to you to fill out those divorce papers. It's up to you to leave behind the ignorance and to find peace, joy, and love and hope in your life and spread it to others just by who and what you become after you do so. It's time to let go of the foolishness and to trust in the universe, whether you call it God, Goddess, the ground of being, or the ground of all possibilities, whatever you call it. It's time to realize that we are not separate from that. That is us. And it's time to live a life of virtue, meaning a life aligned with what we know to be true. We've been given lies. A lot of us don't know what is true anymore. We have built our lives on shifting sand, on false history, false ideology, false religions that have been twisted in order to keep certain people in power. We believe that a hierarchy is necessary. Some people want a matriarchy now. Some people want a patriarchy now. The problem is not whether it's a matriarchy or patriarchy. The earchy part, the hierarchy, is the problem. Because if a matriarchy was so good, it would have never have been overthrown in order to bring about a patriarchy. And if the patriarchy was good, people wouldn't be wanting to overthrow that. We have this pendulum where we're trying to swing back and forth. Now it's time for us not to be swinging back and forth in order to try to find the right path or the right way. It's time to look at where we want to be and to stop right there, here and now. Time is running out for those who insist on staying asleep. There's just a feeling in the air, and there's an understanding by everyone that this is happening. Instead of looking deeply at it and beginning to search in our hearts and to find our part in it, people are blaming others, throwing stones at each other, fighting, dropping bombs on people, denying the fact that there is some type of sickness, some mental illness in much of this world, and much of it comes from the colonizers. It's not only them. There are people who are angry, dominators who want to be in power in almost every society. But the thing that makes the colonizers different is that they think of those people as being good and as what we should be striving for. Divorce yourself from those ideas. I'm tired of the anger. I'm tired of the hatred. I'm tired of the hurt that I feel myself and the anger at the injustice in the world. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm entering back into reality. And I hope you will do the exact same thing. To learn more about us, you can find the information down below. And we hope to be with you again in the next video. As you know, we've been putting up some of our short stories for you to listen to. Please enjoy if you'd like to hear fantasy/sci-fi about AI, about a new world after the cataclysm and all of that. It's up there free. And enjoy yourself. That, I think, is why we are here. To fill ourselves with so much unconditional love and joy that it begins to spill over like a bubbling fountain and bring life to all we touch. So let's do that, folks. Next time you see someone who's totally ignorant or angry or vile, take the time to step back, to look at them from a distance, and to see how foolish they really are. Get a good laugh, and keep moving forward, creating life and love and all it does along your path like a river of life, bringing life to everything it touches along the bank. Thanks for being with us. Namaste.